Sri Sachidananda Sadguru Sainath Maharaj Ki Jai. Sri Sai Satcharitra, an Insight, Episode 129. My humble prostrations at the lotus feet of our Sadguru Sai. By the divine grace of Sai, an attempt has been made to translate the gist of the divine discourse of Sri Ramanathan Brother telecasted in Sai TV. This is purely done to share the glory of Sai and his divine teachings with more insight to the aspirants. Om Gurur Brahma Gurur Vishnu Gurur Devo Maheshwaraha Guru Sakshat Parabrahmam Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Devotees, let us now listen to Sri Sai Satcharitra, chapter 25, which has been titled as Achieving the Devotee's Welfare by Granting What is Desired Deeply. The main character of this chapter is Damu Anna, alias Damodar Savalram Rasane Kasar. Though there are various Leelas connected to Damu Anna, Hemat Panji has chosen to share 4 of them with the devotees. One explicates the grace of Sri Sai upon Damu Anna in granting progeny, which is titled as Amra Leela. Next, he expounded on the Damu Anna how he was blessed to undertake the flag procession that happens every year during Sri Ramanavami. Then we have come across a miracle in which Damu Anna approached Sri Sai Maharaj to grant permission to commence a business in cotton speculation, and the last one was about Damu Anna seeking Sri Sai's approval for a business dealing with grains. Before we dwell deep into these mind-boggling Leelas, I must share few specifics with you all. The original Sri Sai Satcharitra in Marathi, authored by Sri Hemat Panji, comprises of innumerable ovis, that is, the poetic verses, but the one which is being published by Shirdi Samsthan was translated by the most ardent devotee Sri Gunaji. This book is the adapted version of the original Marathi text, and few miracles that were published in Sri Sai Leela magazine were also annexed by Sri Gunaji in this text. So, to list, once Damu Anna encountered a challenging issue in life, and that was resolved by the grace of Sri Sai. Then, at another circumstance, Damu Anna had some doubts in his mind, and he approached Sri Sai Maharaj, which was also clarified. And in our episode, we will be listening to the compilation of all these wonderful events that took place in Damu Anna's life. Among the numerous direct devotees of Sri Sai Maharaj, Pujya Sri Narasimha Swamiji had listed few of them as the most ardent devotees, and in them some are recognized as the Ankitas, that is, children of Sri Sai Maharaj, and Damu Anna is one such loving child of Sri Sai Maharaj. It is the usual practice of Hemat Panji to always begin every chapter by giving out few spiritual philosophies, but this chapter he has commenced by singing the glory of this holy scripture, Sri Sai Satcharitra. Hemat Panji gives a beautiful narration on this. He says, the life and teachings of Sri Sai Baba is a nectar, and stories of Sri Sai Maharaj to his devotees is that of an oasis to a desert traveler. Imagine a person walking on a hot desert on one of the scorching summer days, and there he finds an oasis that would provide him chill water to quench his thirst and cool breeze to rest. None can imagine how happy and thrilled he would feel. Similarly, the devotees who trek in this desert of worldly life will enjoy the soothing and enthralling stories of Sri Sai Maharaj, get faith and wisdom to lead a more worthy and blessed life. Oases might just provide chill water, but the divine stories of Sri Sai Maharaj is a real nectar, says Hemat Panji. He further says, all that you read in Sri Sai Satcharitra are not mere stories but Somakant jewel. In the earlier chapters, Sri Sai Satcharitra is compared to Chandrakant jewel. In fact, both means one and the same. But in that context, Hemat Panji used this metaphor to denote that the oozing of the Chandrakant jewel and the surging of the sea are not due to the jewel or sea but to the rise of the moon. Similarly, the sound that arises from the harmonium is not because of the instrument, as that does not know how the sounds are produced. It is concerned with the player and not on the nature of the instrument. Now, in this chapter, Sri Hemat Panji has described so beautifully in his poetic verses that Sri Sai Satcharitra itself is a Somakant jewel. Soma denotes moon and Kanta means light in Sanskrit. This stone absorbs the cool rays of the moon and produces water in the form of cool moisture. So, the devotees of Sri Sai who has the thirst to listen to his life and teachings will enjoy these nectar like stories to their heart's content, as that of the chakori bird that would quench its thirst by drinking all the water from this Somakant stone. I would like to add some details to this Somakant jewel. In the district of Tanjore, a very famous temple known as Vashishteshwarar Shrine is situated in the village by named Tittai. This is one of the holy shrines of Lord Shiva, glorified in the Devaram poems by the great Tamil Saivite servants of Lord Shiva, Thirunyana Sambandar and Thirunavukarasar. The uniqueness of this holy temple is that a drop of water falls on the Shivalinga in the Sanctum Sanctorum every 24 minutes from the ceiling because of the presence of this special stone Somakant, which is installed on the roof of the temple. This stone absorbs the moisture from the surrounding air and converts into a drop of water, and that drips on the Lord Vashishteshwarar, the presiding deity of the temple. Irrespective of the weather conditions, be it extremely hot or drought conditions, the water would drip from the stone on the Lord. There has been no change in this process until this day. When we go to have darshan of this Lord in the temple, the priest would point out this marvel to us. This happens every 24 minutes. One narigai consists of 24 minutes. So, exactly after every narigai, the water drips. There is no other source of water from the temple tower other than a small hole through which the water falls. So, the reason is just the placing of the Somakant stone on the roof at a strategic point causes the droplets of water to fall on the main deity, as that of a natural holy bath to the Lord. Lord Shiva is very fond of holy bath. Hence, in temples, we find a small pot hung above the Shivalingam filled with water that has a small hole underneath so that the water will keep dripping on the Lord incessantly. This also symbolizes the holy Ganga flowing out of his matted locks. Now, getting back to the original thread, let us focus on the enthralling Sai Leelas experienced by Damodar Savalram Rasane Kasar. Sri Sai Baba would call him as Anna Rasane or Damya. He was also known as Nagar Anna, Nagar Rasane, as he was from Ahmednagar. But most of the times Sri Sai called him by the name Damya. His name was Damodar. His father's name was Savalram and Rasane was their caste name. Their family deity was Devi Renuka, Jagadamba Mata, and this temple is situated at a place known as Rasane. Thus, all the family members and the descendants of Damodar has Rasane as their surname. His sons' names are Nana Sahib Rasane, Triambak Rasane, Govind Rasane, and Vasant Rasane. Then what does Kasar mean? It denotes a bangle merchant. Either they can be bangle makers or sellers, both were called as Kasar. In the initial years, Damu Anna was a very simple bangle seller. His economic status was very poor, but the grace of the goddess of wealth, Sri Lakshmi, was upon him and he was successful in all his business endeavors, which brought him huge profit and transformed his life from a poor man to a rich person. So they shifted their home from Ahmednagar to Ravivarpet, a place in Pune. He became affluent but had no progeny. This caused great distress in his mind. Olden days, whenever a couple couldn't bear a child, the elders never bothered to know the reasons. Instead, they would immediately suggest the boy to go for a second marriage. Thus, Damu Anna married for the second time and even his second wife could not bear a child. Whenever things doesn't happen the way it is expected, then people who have interest and faith on fortune tellers will approach the astrologers, and so did Damu Anna. They analyzed his horoscope and said that the house which would indicate about childbirth, that is Putrasthanam, has a malefic in the form of Ketu. Hence, the chance of having kids is absolutely nil. This can be surmounted if it is in an angle with the Guru. But unfortunately, in his horoscope, there is no Guru influence to overcome that evil. Therefore, they declared that he would never have progeny. Damu Anna consulted many astrologers in this regard and finally he became an expert in analyzing the horoscopes. He understood that the planet Jupiter, that is Guru's presence, is very vital to strengthen the probability of childbirth and it is known as Putra Karaka. Whereas his horoscope has a malefic in the Putrasthanam and the planet Jupiter is also not dominating to control the power of the evil. Hence, he lost all hopes and felt that there is no possibility of having a child in this birth. Astrologers always say that Guru's glance would bestow crores of benefits, whereas in Damu Anna's case, such an important planet's effect is missing. But Damu Anna must have had a good store of merits that he got to hear the glory of Sri Sai Baba and went for darshan around the year 1895. Sri Sai Baba bestowed him progeny, and this miracle is mentioned under the title Amra Leela, and we will be listening to the astonishing Leela in our episodes. But before dwelling deep into it, I would like to discuss the same in the words of Pujya Sri Narasimha Swamiji, which is very beautifully narrated in his Sai literature, Life of Sai Baba. Swamiji says the planetary influence might expel a person from having a child, but Damu Anna need not worry. Even if the 9 planets are not in a favorable house, because when the omniscient Sadguru Sai's grace would fall on such a person, then that will overpower the control of all the evil present in the horoscope and will bless the person with progeny and all the prosperities required for him to lead a happy and peaceful life. So, Pujya Sri Narasimha Swamiji is asserting to all the devotees of Sri Sai Baba that none had to worry about the planetary positions on their horoscopes, as we are protected by Sadguru Sai Baba, who can shield us from all negative influences of the planets. Sadguru's grace alone is sufficient for us to overcome all kinds of hurdles. The planets in the horoscope can only indicate the dangers or obstacles that one might encounter in their life, but that doesn't have power to proclaim a person's life. Many factors are involved in deciding the life's events in a person's life. Many instances have been quoted in support of this statement in scriptures and in the books that portray the experiences of devotees of various spiritual masters also. The benevolence of the master is more potent than the impact of any planet. Hence, the blessings of the spiritual master can conquer the power of all the 9 planets and the evil present in those houses of the horoscope. Devotees, this is my sincere request to all the listeners of this episode. If anybody is longing for an issue, then, irrespective of the planetary positions and the evil present in your horoscope, read this chapter devotedly and with complete faith on Sri Sai. Then, I am certain that Sri Sai Baba's grace will bestow them a progeny. This has been professed by Sri Sai Maharaj, and the same has been narrated by Hemant Panji here. This chapter is a testimony to this fact. Then, why worry about our horoscope? Let it be true, but when the Paramatma, Sri Sai Baba's grace is upon us, then what can the planets do to us? Every planet is under the control of Sri Sai Maharaj. This is a realization that each one of us had to get. I would like to quote the lyrics from one of the devotional songs sung by the great saint Tyagaraja Swamiji, who sings Gruha Balamemi Rama Anugraha Balame Balamu, which means, what is the power of the 9 planets to those who meditate on the form of Lord Rama? All these can be easily won by the grace of the Lord. The same has been stated by another great Saivite saint, Thiruñana Sampanthar, in Kolaru Padigam song. வேயுரு தோழி பங்கன் விடமுண்ட கண்டன் மிக நல்ல வீணை தடவி மாசரு திங்கள் கங்கை முடிமேல் அணிந்து என் உளமே புகுந்த அதனால் ஞாயிறு திங்கள் செவ்வாய் புதன் வியாழன் வெள்ளி சனி பாம்பிரண்டும் உடனே ஆசரு நல்ல நல்ல அவை நல்ல நல்ல அடியாரவர்க்கு மிகவே. Roughly translated as, the one whose consort has shoulders as that of a bamboo, whose neck is affected by swallowing poison that oozed while churning the ocean, one who plays veena faultlessly, one who wears the spotless moon and Ganga on his head, has entered inside my mind, and for devotees like me, the forces of the planets Sun, Moon, Mars, Mercury, Jupiter, Venus, Saturn, and the two snakes, Rahu and Ketu, will not do anything evil but only good, and real good to the devotees of Lord Shiva. Devotees, I would like to conclude this episode by re emphasizing the truth that Sri Sainath's devotees need not fear about the houses of the planets in your horoscope or the evil present in the horoscope. Instead, have steadfast faith and loving devotion for Sri Sai Baba, surrender at his holy feet, and cling to it, as that would eradicate all the bad effects of the planets and help you to overcome the challenges successfully. Let us continue to listen to the noteworthy Leelas experienced by Damu Anna in the coming episodes. Bow to Sri Sai. Peace be to all. Om Sai Ram.